The average person wastes 2 hours a day on distractions. Like, think about that for a minute. That equals to 1 month a year in distractions that you don't even remember where the time went. What would happen if you actually gained back 1 month every year of your time? Imagine all of the things that you could actually accomplish that you felt that you haven't. Welcome back, everyone, to a Mindset Medicine podcast. I am your host, Katharine Loucaidou. And, you know, this is a podcast where we dive into what really drives success. It's your mindset, it's time management, it's the way we deal with our emotions. And I provide strategies, tips. I give you a little bit of theory. I give you a little bit of some stories just to bring home the idea that if you have been struggling with any topic that we've been discussing or we're about to discuss, don't worry, I've got you covered. So we're diving into mastering time management. It's one of those topics that comes up very, very often with my coaching clients. How do I get back time? How can I learn to divide my time among the many different tasks and responsibilities in my life? Right? We have a life outside of work. Are you working to live or are you living to work? I'm going to ask you that question again. Are you living to work or are you working to live? They have two different meanings. And I'll just let that sort of resonate with you as we begin today. So here's what we're going to talk about today. I didn't want this to be your average, boring time management session. I wanted to kick it up a little bit. And I wanted to show you, open your eyes to the idea that your emotions are actually affecting your time management. Have you ever thought of that? We think of time that it's running out and we just don't have enough time to get what we need done. But here's the thing. We actually do have enough time, but our emotions are dictating how we are how we are using that time in our day. So we're going to look at how your brain perceives time and why emotions play such a huge role. We're going to cover practical strategies to help you get more done in your day. And more importantly, how to create a work-life balance. And I'm going to put balance in quotes because we're going to help you flow a little bit better so that you don't feel like at the end of the day, oh my gosh, where did the time go? How is it possible that an entire day has gone by and I don't feel like I've been that productive today? Or maybe you just didn't get all of those things that you needed to get done. So let's be honest. If you do not take care of your time and take control of your time, someone else will. Because someone else has an agenda and they know how to control their time. And so as a result, you may be pulled into what their time management looks like. And if that sounds a little confusing, I apologize, but I am going to dive in further and it's all going to become very, very clear to you. So let's dive in. The psychology of time perception. Why is it that when we are sitting in a doctor's office, a hospital, maybe you're waiting in a government office for a driver's license or whatever, and time is just going so slow? Why is that? It is because your emotions and your brain's internal clock actually speeds up and slows down depending on how you're feeling. So when you feel stressed, when you are anticipating something that may not be very good, may not be in your best interest, maybe it's something that's just worrying you, time will feel like it's endless. And it feels like it's just not passing fast enough for you. Have you ever had those weeks where there's not really anything interesting going on during your week? No projects you're working on? That week goes by so slowly. And then you have those other weeks where you're happy, you've got this project going on, you've got a purpose, you're on vacation, and time is just going by so fast. Why? Because you are in a state of joy, you're in a state of flow, and it feels like you're compressing time. So when we feel stressed or anxious, our brains go into overdrive. They will start to focus on survival. We are scanning for threats, and it actually makes time feel like it's dragging on. And that's why time feels as though it slows down when we're in these states where we're waiting for something, waiting for a phone call. Like I said, waiting in a hospital, or the most common, waiting in traffic. If you have nothing to listen to, maybe you're feeling a little stressed because you needed to get somewhere faster than you are. Yeah, it's going to feel very, very slow. And you are hyper aware of every second that's passing. It's all because of your emotions. On the flip side, when you are calm, when you are happy, when you're really engaged in something, you're completely focused, your brain actually is functioning differently. Positive emotions release neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which makes time feel like it's speeding up. This is why when you're on vacation, it just feels like the week or the 2 weeks, however long you're on vacation, it just flies by. Like, where did that time go? Just when you started to relax, it's almost time to go back home. So, here is some interesting research. Studies show that people who are in a state of sadness or boredom overestimate the passage of time, while those who are experiencing happiness and spontaneity and excitement underestimate how quickly time is going by. So, Michael Phelps, the Olympic medalist for swimming, has often described himself as being in the zone. Have you ever felt even like that for yourself, where you are so engrossed in a movie or a book or listening to music, dancing, something that has really captured your attention? And it's as if you're in the zone. Maybe you do this for work. I know myself, when I get really engrossed in even creating the contents for this podcast today, or I'm creating a course, whatever that is, or even a coaching call with my clients, when you zone in to what someone is talking about or something that you're working on, it's like everything else becomes a blur. You don't even notice the passage of time, and you look up. This happens to me daily. I'm working on the computer and I'm doing all kinds of things, and I look up. And it's like every day I look up, it's 1:59, and I realize I haven't even eaten lunch yet because I'm so focused on and enjoying what I'm doing. I don't realize how quickly the time has gone. So, this state of flow, athletes feel it, people who are working on projects. So, something to think about whenever you feel as though time in your day is passing really slowly, think about whether you need to find a project. Maybe you need to be a little more focused on something that you're working on, because brainlessly scrolling through social media on your phone doesn't really, it can make time pass, but I don't know how productive that is. Maybe that's one of the 2 hours of distraction that will happen in a day, and you end up losing a month on things you don't even remember. So, if you want to slow time down in a good way, create moments where it's exciting, it's challenging for you, it's interesting, it's intriguing, you've got a curiosity and you're doing a little research. Put moments like this in your day. These small changes of you adding in different activities, try driving home a different way. Try listening to something different in the car. Try a new activity. Try a new food. All of these things will play with how time is acting in relation to you. So, here is something that most people don't realize. You're not just managing tasks in your day, you're actually managing your emotions. And productivity is not just about checking boxes off on that to-do list that you've got every day. It is about creating your state of mind where time is working for you and not against you. So that's basically the theory behind why time feels like it's slowing down or speeding up. We're going to move into strategies now. So strategies that will help you increase your productivity and get more of what you want to get done. So we have the 80-20 rule. I am sure you've heard of the 80-20 rule. It's actually called the Pareto principle. And 80% of your results comes from 20% of your efforts. Okay, let's think about that again. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. So if this is the case, which it is anywhere around the world and in anything you happen to be doing, if we know this to be true, why are we concentrating on things that won't move our businesses and lives forward, as opposed to that 20% that will move the needle for us and get us closer to where we want to be? So right now, you may not be happy with where you're at. Things may feel stressed. You may have taken on too much. You may have too much on your plate. You are dealing with too many things going on in your life at the same time. So the question is, okay, you've got those things going on. So how do you manage your time into the 20% that will actually be effective so that it will affect 80% of the rest of your business? That's what we're going to focus on today. Barack Obama, a former US president, once shared that he eliminates decision fatigue by limiting his wardrobe to simple options and structuring his morning with consistency, meaning exercise, family time, and only a few high priority decisions. So why does he do that? He said that the less energy he spent on small choices, the more capacity he had to make the bigger decisions. And you'll notice that a lot of, predominantly it's men who choose to wear, for example, they'll buy 10, 15, 20 t-shirts. They wear a uniform. It's easy. It reduces decision fatigue so that you can go on and make the more important decisions later on in the day. So the question is, where can you simplify your routine? Whether it's, can you create a meal prep for yourself during the week? Can you create a workout schedule that you just know you're going to follow every day because it will become a habit? Fewer decisions means more focus on what truly matters to you. The next one that I find to be a very effective strategy, and it's typically what I will coach a lot of my clients on, is time blocking. For me, it's a secret weapon because once you learn how to manage your time and you're able to block it out in separate compartments during the week or during the day, what's going to happen is you start to get so much more done. I mean, I turn around some days and I think, holy smokes, did I actually get all of that done in one day? And I did, because I'm hyper focused when I have each time block. My phone goes on do not disturb. So I don't even have those distractions coming in, with the phone beeping or anything else. And you really do get so much more done. Think about this for a minute. When you have scheduled yourself to go on a vacation, the week before you go on vacation, what ends up happening? Do you not end up becoming hyper focused and move into productivity mode to get more done? Because one, you don't want to take it with you. Number two, you just need it done before you leave. So, in knowing that, and in knowing how you work right before you go on a vacation, what would happen if you were to just bring that to your week every week? So every week you become hyper focused on what needs to get done. You would actually create more time in your week for yourself. Elon Musk is famous for time blocking his time down to 5-minute intervals. I know that sounds crazy and it's extreme and it's not for everyone, but have you looked at what he's accomplished recently? It's obviously working for him. What you need to do is just find a rhythm that works for you. I have been time blocking from the time my children were young and I was working multiple jobs, and I decided to do my master's degree. So, working 3 different jobs and 2 children under the age of 6 and working on my master's degree. It was a lot for one person at one time during the day. So the way I was able to do it was I would time block my time. I knew what I was doing each part of the day. I knew when I had to be at work. I knew when I had to grade things for my teaching job. And then I knew when I would have 1 to 2 hours every evening, let's say between 9 and 11, that I could just work on the master's. Now, what did that mean? In return, I had to sacrifice not watching TV, for example, for 2 hours a night. That's what I had to sacrifice. So you may sacrifice not watching a Netflix show during the day while you're working in order to get that time blocking done on something that's actually more important for your life. It's just sacrifice. But the problem is that not everyone wants to sacrifice. And I would say the reason that you may not want to sacrifice is because the bigger picture in your life isn't bright enough. You haven't chosen a purpose beyond today or tomorrow that is going to move you to want to sacrifice certain things. So, a tip when time blocking. So, you can do this in your digital calendar, whatever calendar you have on your phone. You can do it physically where you actually color code. I know on a Google Calendar, you can color code your day. and each block of time so that you can actually see it the moment you open your calendar. Let's say you choose light blue for your tasks. There it is, light blue right across the board. Maybe you need to start inserting some time for yourself, some time that has nothing to do with work, nothing to do with your family. It's just for you to refuel and recharge. Maybe that is green because it's when you're going to go out and take a walk every day. Put it into your calendar. It is as important as any business appointment or job expectation that you will ever have. So let's keep going. Delegation is a productivity multiplier. How good are you at delegating tasks? I know it is one of my weaknesses, meaning I am not good at delegating. When, I've been doing things on my own for so long and needing to just take care of things that I have not learned to delegate exceptionally well. So it's something that I too am working on. But I also know when I have reached my capacity, or when I sit back and I think to myself, could I be more productive? Could I move my business forward if someone else was handling these tasks that I don't need to be doing? Could someone else be doing things that that possibly are their strengths and not mine? So I fall into the category of productive people who try to do everything themselves. So here is the thing. Not only do you need to delegate tasks, but you need to delegate the outcomes. So Richard Branson attributes much of his success to hiring great people and trusting them. Because you can go ahead and you can hire great people, but if you're going to micromanage them, and if you're going to check and be very overly critical of every little thing that they're doing, you're not doing yourself a service. You are not improving your life in any way. You are still trying to manage the task. So even though Richard Branson acknowledges that effective delegation requires patience and clear communication, not everyone embraces that. So let's move on to additional real life examples. Tim Ferriss is the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, and he is known for his philosophy of eliminating the unnecessary things in life. He prioritizes time by applying the 80-20 rule. 80% of the results come from 20% of efforts. And he ruthlessly pares down his to-do list to focus only on the tasks that will move the needle forward in his life and his business. So here's a takeaway for you. Write this down. Look at your to-do list right now and cross off or delegate anything that does not directly support your individual goals that could be done by someone else. Tim Ferriss calls this firing yourself from busy work. So busy work is that work that needs to get done, but does not need to get done by us. So think about that as another actionable strategy for yourself. Another strategy is called the Pomodoro technique. And it's very similar to time blocking, where you are going to use 25-minute time blocks that require intense focus. And you're going to save lighter tasks that don't require too much, we'll call it brain power, to do at another time. So for example, answering emails, that is not in a 25-minute focused time block. Filling out greeting cards for Christmas, not in a focused 25-minute time block. They are tasks that need to be done, but they don't need to be done when you're focusing on moving something in your life or business forward. For example, maybe you're creating a course, maybe you're working on a budget, things that are highly, highly important. Maybe you're trying to strategize what 2025 looks like and you are working on your business plan. That is important. That don't allow it distractions in when you're doing those things. Another very good technique is prioritization of your tasks. So once you've completed your day and you have seen everything that you have accomplished, at the end of the day, create your list for the following day, starting with the most important task. I always called it the money-making tasks. What is it that will move the business forward? Those are the tasks that you always get out of the way first. So depending on your industry, so if you're a manager, CEO, what are the tasks that will truly move the business needle forward that you need to get done first thing in the morning? As soon as you get to the office, you are bright, you've had your coffee, you are ready to go. If you are in an industry like real estate or mortgages, what are those first things you should be doing? Likely they are reach outs, follow-ups, prospecting. Those are the money-making tasks. Those are the ones that should be prioritized first thing every day. And then you kind of make your list going down from there. By taking, choosing one or two of these strategies that I've just mentioned, they will start gaining back your time. There is nothing to say that you can't have some distractions during the day, but the point is to get the focused work done first. That 20% that's going to move the needle in your business, that is what you cannot afford to give up every day. But first, you have to figure out what that 20% is. And if you don't know, and if you're having a tough time figuring that out, that's what I'm here for. So there's going to be a link at the bottom of this video. Book a discovery call with me. If you need help in your time management skills, in just knowing what is that 20% that will move my business forward, that's what I'm here to help you figure out. Clarity is something that I have a gift for. A change in perspective. Maybe you thought that these certain activities that you've been doing have been moving your business, but they haven't. Maybe you've been concentrating on the wrong things. 20% will bring you 80% of your results. So why don't we figure out what that 20% is? So now we move on to part 3, which is balancing your life and work. Is it a balance, right? Is it that sort of seesaw or weight? I personally don't believe that there is balance. I don't think that anything is going to be equally 50-50, and I don't think it's meant to be. I think balance is one of the hardest things that you can achieve because it's not static. It's fluid. It's always changing. Work changes, life changes, things happen. People become sick. There are health issues. There are vacations. There are so many different variables in your day that how could we possibly say it's a 50-50? Instead of thinking of balance as this thing that we need to find from somewhere, I need to find more balance in my life. Where are you going to find it? That's a myth. Balance is something that you're going to create. And you're going to do it with the strategies, some of those strategies that I've given you, but we're also going to do it with a bit of a change in your mindset. To begin with, my first question for you is this: what does a balanced day look like to you? Do you believe that it is the quantity of the time that you spend at home with your family and the quantity of time that you spend at work? Or Is it the quality that you should be working on? Balance is personal. And to ask someone to balance your life for you is probably the wrong question. What you need to be asking is, help me to find the strategies where I can flow in work, flow in life, and somehow create harmony between the two of them. Think of your time as a pie chart, right? You've got your pie chart, your round circle, and it's divided into triangles. What are the non-negotiables that absolutely need to be in your pie chart? So is it health? Is it your work? Is it family? Personal growth? What does that look like? Once you know your priorities, everything else becomes a negotiable. So fill in the pie chart. How many pieces and what percentage of the pie is that taking up for you? So if you're looking at that pie right now and it looks like work is 90% of the pie and you have left 10% for family, yes, there is a balance issue going on there. Where is your health? Where is your family? Where is your personal time for personal growth? Where is that? You need all of those things to feel whole. So grab a piece of paper now. And while you're listening, label each slice of your pie with what truly matters in your life. Now take an honest look at how you've been spending your time. And the pie can't have open spaces. Each part of the pie should be labeled as something. But be honest. When you look at that, what do those percentages look like? And if they look like they're off and that it could be, we're not looking for 50-50. We're looking for, do they work together? Is it giving you the results that you've been looking for? You say that you want, let's say, a better quality of life at home. You want better relationships, but yet your work is 90%. Something needs to change. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you've been spending so much time working on yourself and being with family and being distracted that work is suffering. The key is to find that pie that just looks beautifully different colored, so you're covering every part of what you need to cover. I've worked with many clients over the years, but one particular person realized that they had been spending so many hours on work that really wasn't moving their business forward, but they were busy all the time. But busy doing what? I'm not sure. So what they realized is that their health was suffering, their family was suffering, because they were spending all this time on these things, these tasks that weren't really bringing in money, weren't moving the business along, but yet they were always busy. What I had them do was I had them sit back and be very honest with themselves and say to themselves, okay, let's look at my business production. How have I been doing? How successful have I been in generating new business? Well, it looks like I haven't. So where has that time been going? And where can I bring it back? Where can I take away from that's been a distraction, perhaps? That's where focused work and prioritizing what needs to be done, that's what's highly important at that point. Another important strategy is to create a system of saying no. Have you fallen into some behavior where you're always saying yes? Maybe you have a fear of missing out on something that's going on somewhere. You feel like you have to attend a conference because that's where everyone's going. But have you stopped to ask yourself, if I attend that, is it moving me forward, or am I just attending it because it's what everyone else is doing? If you're not excited or committed to something that you're about to do, say no. Just say no. Because at this point in your life, you should be excited, committed, and know that, yes, I am willing to spend my time doing that because it means something to me or it means something to my future. But if you cannot back it up with that, why are you doing it? For who? Remember at the beginning of this podcast, I said, if you're not controlling your time, someone else is. So that is probably one of those times where you're attending something that someone else wants you to be there for, but it may not be in your best interest. Now, yes, there are times when we will be attending, maybe it's a family function. That's a different story. I'm talking about during your work day. If there are things that you have been attending that really aren't moving you forward, you need to ask yourself, why do I feel the need to attend? Why do I feel the need to say, yes, I'll be there? Energy management versus time management. Balance isn't just about managing your time, it's also about managing your energy. If you think of your energy like the battery on your phone, right? You can see it moving down. The more you're using it, the more you're talking, you see that battery go down. Every task, every conversation, every decision that you make drains your energy battery. Every single one of them, believe it or not, which is why typically we start the day with a very high, full pack of battery in our body. And everything that we do during the day depletes that battery of ours. Every task, every decision, every yes that we say that should have been a no. What you'll find is that the more often you run out of your battery every day, it will lead to exhaustion. It will lead to burnout. And then that will lead to other health side effects. I think it's important to identify your energy zone. When are you most focused? There's something called the Einstein window, and everyone has it. The Einstein window is a period of time during the day when you are at your very, very best. What is that time for you? Is it as soon as you wake up in the morning? Is it about an hour later? Is it after exercise? Are you a night owl and you feel like, I've never quite understood this though, how you can make it through the whole day and then you still have energy at midnight or 12 or 1 a.m. to get things done. So really be honest with yourself and think, what is my energy zone? And those are the hours that you should be using for all of those high priority tasks that need to get done to move your business forward. Low energy tasks, scrolling on your phone, maybe social media posting, doesn't really take a lot of brain power. Save those for those additional hours where you're almost giving yourself a break from the really focused, concentrated hours. Micro moments of balance. So we don't actually have to take a full day off or a half day off when we are trying to get back and refuel and recharge. Sometimes it can just be these micro moments that we take. So, for example, you're in between calls, literally get up, walk outside, and just stand outside. No phone, nothing. Close your eyes and just breathe. What can you hear? What can you feel? Just do that for 5 minutes. You will be shocked at the burst of energy You have literally, it's like plugging in your phone for 10 minutes. What happens? That little nodule goes back up again. One little segment, doesn't it? That's what you need. You just need to put your battery back up again, one little segment. But imagine that you do that a few times a day. Imagine if 4 times a day you just stopped what you were doing. Even if you're driving, you're sitting in the car, just don't have the radio on. Don't do anything. Just close your eyes and just sit. And don't do anything. Just rest. You have just increased your battery another little segment. So what happens is if you can do that throughout your day for 5 minutes, by the time you get to the end of the day, you're no longer dead. You feel you still have that little half pack of energy left. And now you can give to the people who are at home, a spouse, a partner, your family, whoever that is. You're not going home comatose because you've had a crazy day. You've actually recharged yourself a little bit. And finally, a lot of what can preoccupy us during the day is the idea of getting everything perfect. Perfection is really hard to chase because you will never reach it. And so many people spend their day chasing perfection for what? Who are you impressing? Because I'll tell you, most people don't even realize that you tried as hard as you did. You are the only one who knows how hard you tried. Now, if you're doing it for yourself, that's fine. But I think that if you could be happy with it's done, it's good, now let me move on, you would save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of time. Balance isn't perfect, and work isn't perfect, and your home life isn't perfect. But there are days when one will outshine the other, where more is required. Sometimes more is required at home. And so that's where the energy needs to go. Sometimes more is required at work. The idea is to try and balance the amount of times that more is required at work when more is required at home. And we will tend to burn out, experience stress, start to have health issues when we don't realize that the one is not in sync with the other. When your life aligns with your values, the pressure that you feel will begin to fade. So if you're saying that you have a high value on family and life and staying healthy, if you say that those are your values, but your actions are spending 90% doing work, that's where you're misaligned. So how do you balance the two of them? That's what I want you to figure out today. And if you're not sure how, that's what I'm here to help you with. So mastering your time isn't about doing it all, doing it perfectly. It's about doing what matters, the 20% that's going to move everything forward. When you can understand your time, when you can set boundaries on your time, and when you can focus on your priorities, that is when you will create a life that feels more fulfilling and joyful. If you are ready to go a little bit deeper into this, you really want to solve this problem for yourself because you're feeling like it has become a problem. You really want to start enjoying life more. You want more fulfillment. So how do you balance these two things? That's what I will help you with. I have 2 ways that I help my clients. One is with Vision 360 one-on-one coaching. And you can actually find that on my website. You can click on there and it'll tell you what that is, KatharineLoucaidouCoaching.com. And the other way is my Bold Moves Mastermind coaching. And that's a group coaching. And you're there, you're networking, but everyone is discussing what they're going through. And it is not a whine fest, as in whining. It is about being productive and actually moving you forward, just like you would in one-on-one coaching, but it is in a group dynamic environment. So both of those you can find on my website, KatharineLoucaidouCoaching.com. It is brand new. It has been revamped. It looks great. I think you'll find some really interesting information. There's blogs. This podcast is on there. Access to my courses. It's all there. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Remember, time, how precious it is. I do respect and appreciate that you have spent time with me today. And like and subscribe if you have found this podcast helpful, or if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to this channel because it helps me to bring you more valuable information that will help you move yourself forward to where you really want to be in life. Bye for now. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Mindset Medicine. Remember, every step you take toward building a resilient mindset and creating harmony in your life will get you closer to your dreams and that transformation that you've been looking for. If today's episode hit home for you, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback is our fuel. Spread the love. Share this podcast with friends and family. Tag me on Instagram at Katharine Loucaidou Coaching. And if you're looking for more tips and resources, head over to KatharineLoucaidouCoaching.com. Stay connected, stay inspired, and keep living your very best life with harmony and purpose. And until next time, my friends, live boldly with purpose.